This phone you're looking at wasn't just any device. It was a luxury BlackBerry designed for the rich and famous. Around 2009-2010, it made headlines as one of the world's most expensive phones. It was covered with thousands of diamonds and made with 18-karat gold, valued at £125,000. It became a statement piece for some of the world's biggest celebrities, including P. Diddy, Jay-Z, 50 Cent, and the Saudi royal family. But that's not all. Amosu also created the world's most expensive luxury iPhone 6, valued at $2.7 million, bringing his signature diamond craftsmanship and design to Apple devices and proving his work went far beyond BlackBerries. On top of that, he designed a £70,000 suit, recognized by the Guinness World Record in 2009 as the world's most expensive suit. And before all that, at just 24 years old, he sold his ringtone company for £9 million, becoming one of the youngest millionaires in the UK at the time. All these incredible achievements link back to one man, Alexander Amosu, a Nigerian entrepreneur who went from selling newspapers on the streets to designing luxury phones and fashion for global icons. You probably haven't even heard of him before and might be wondering, who is he? Where does he come from? And what's the story behind his rise from poverty to prestige?
I believe that you can do whatever you want to do, and by that I mean that if you have a belief and you want to do something, you're always going to find a brick wall that you can either climb over it, walk around it, dig your way underneath it, or physically hurt yourself going through it. But whatever you do, do not turn around and walk away.
Stay with us as we tell you the inspiring story of Alexander Amosu, the Nigerian boy who turned struggle into style. Born in London to Nigerian parents on the 21st of June 1975, Amosu grew up standing between two contrasting worlds, the discipline of African ambition and the allure of Western luxury. He wasn't born into wealth, but into hunger, the kind that daydreams of gold and wealth, even when your wallet is empty and your tummy aches out of starvation. However, he was determined to change the situation, and that determination is what birthed an entrepreneurial spirit in him early. He delivered newspapers and earned £10 a week to save for his first pair of Nike shoes. At such a young age, he was already riding on ambition. The years that followed only fueled the fire burning deep within Amosu. While studying at university, he was already actively building businesses and chasing dreams. These ventures included promoting club nights and sports tournament and launching a cleaning company which, at its peak, was turning over more than £4,000 a month with multiple employees. These early ventures were born from a deep desire to escape poverty and pursue greatness.
The inspiration comes from not wanting to be broke. I remember when I started the cleaning company, getting my dad's suit, rolling it up. You got a deal. I'm starting now. Scrub the toilet like I've never scrubbed toilets before. Hoovered the whole house, scrubbed the kitchen. Sort of grown up in an environment where you had to fend for yourself from a very early age.
Every achievement, no matter how small, was a brick laid in the foundation of his ambition. But the big question is, what was the turning point in Alexander Amosu's life? Where did his success story begin? And when did he finally catch his big break? Well, it all began with ringtones. In the early 2000s, Amosu became the first person in Britain to earn millions from mobile phone ringtones by launching R&Bringtones.com. The idea originated when he personally composed a polyphonic version of a Jay-Z track on his basic Nokia phone. He realized there was a demand for custom ringtones when his friends offered to pay him for the tones he created. Noticing a significant gap in the market, he focused on hip-hop and R&B music, which were largely underserved by existing providers as they made terrible covers. To take advantage of this gap, he set up a premium rate phone line and marketed it heavily. Through his aggressive marketing, he built a highly successful business that grossed over £1 million in its first year. This success solidified his reputation as an entrepreneur, but eventually, he sold the company for £9 million to shift his focus to bespoke, custom-made luxury goods. This is when Alexander Amosu reinvented himself as a luxury designer, customizing gold and diamond-encrusted phones for clients who didn't just want tech, but wanted something elegant and captivating.
It's great coming up with great ideas that you could sell, start in 1 year or 2 years and then sell in the third year. But with a luxury brand, building something bigger than just me, something that, in 10, 20, 50 years, people would recognize as a household name. It's the pinnacle of luxury. You want the best, you come to us.
That success opened many doors, and Amosu walked through them with swagger. By this time, he had already drawn the attention of the rich, but even then, he wanted more. He wanted to prove that African craftsmanship could redefine luxury on its own terms, not as an imitation, but as an innovation. And so, in 2009, he made a very shocking move. Alexander Amosu announced what would become his most audacious project yet, the world's most expensive suit. This was not to be just an ordinary outfit, but a story stitched with ambition, rarity, and pure artistry. He wanted to make people believe that luxury didn't stop at just spending money. He wanted to prove that luxury could be about buying a piece of history. And so, Alexander Amosu set out on an audacious journey to make history. Have you been thinking about investing in Nigerian real estate? But you're scared. Scared of sending money home and seeing nothing. Scared of buying a house and wondering who will manage it. Scared of being left alone after the purchase. That's why Z Realty was built. With Z Realty, every property you buy comes with full management. You're not just buying a house, you are buying a system that works. Z Realty help you find credible, income-generating properties, and everything is fully managed for you. From houses for short lets to farms for agriculture. From listings and bookings to cleaning and maintenance. Each month, your returns are sent straight to you. No stress, no chasing anyone. You buy it, we manage it. You earn every month. Even if you are abroad, this changes everything. Own from anywhere, earn from home with Z Realty. Thank you, Z Realty, for sponsoring this video. Alexander Amosu's journey to design the world's most expensive suit wasn't a typically smooth sailing ride. What many people think is that he just threw money at materials with hardly any work done. However, what they don't know is that he went hunting for rarity. Because for Amosu, every fiber, every stitch, every glimmer had to tell a story. It had to whisper rare, unattainable, precious. And this is how he went about it. The foundation to this masterpiece was fabric, but not just any fabric. Amosu's creation was woven from a combination of the rarest wools known to man. First, there's vicuña. This is a fiber harvested from an animal in the Andes that can only be shorn only once every 3 years. So delicate that it was once reserved for Incan royalty. Then there is kiviot, the down of the Arctic muskox, warmer than wool, softer than cashmere, and nearly impossible to obtain in bulk. And completing the trio is pashmina, taken from the underbelly of Himalayan goats, spun into threads so fine that a shawl could pass through a ring. Each thread told a story of geography, exclusivity, and obsession. With this, Amosu was able to create a suit so rare that even the raw materials were valued higher than gold per gram. Amosu made sure that every detail on this attire spoke elegance and luxury, down to the threads and buttons. For a suit of this quality, he definitely wasn't going to use the regular plastic buttons or everyday threads as most designers do. He went the extra mile and used good thread pinstripes and buttons that were handcrafted from 18-karat gold. In fact, some reports, confirmed by Vanguard and The Punch, note that a few versions of these buttons featured diamond-studded details. What Amosu was designing was less of a piece of clothing. He was creating a luxurious item that combined art and engineering in tailoring.
It's a lot of dedication, a lot of hard work. Parents weren't exactly, loaded with money, so I had to be very creative in terms of doing things that were going to bring money in for me. So I suppose that in itself is what entrepreneurism is about.
The process to achieve this milestone was just as extravagant as the outcome. It took over 80 hours of hand-stitching by seasoned tailors, craftsmen with more than 2 decades of experience to assemble the suit. Each seam, each lining, each fold was meticulously shaped. No shortcuts, no machines, no mistakes. And when it was complete, Amosu did not simply launch it. He unveiled it like a work of art, because indeed it was.
I'm here with Alex, who is wearing the world's most expensive suit.
You know, Olivia, it's absolutely incredible.
It's really nice. The material's lovely on your skin.
Well, my next step is now to take the suit on a tour. So it's been launched over here. We're going to go to Abu Dhabi, Monaco, New York.
The suit was transported to a private London event in an armored Range Rover, reviewed beneath spotlights, surrounded by champagne and astonishment. The price tag Amosu placed on his creation was a whopping £70,000, roughly 17 million naira at the time. To put that into perspective, that's roughly 136 million naira today, 2025. A single suit, one man's vision, the world's attention. The world was forced to do a double take when Alexander Amosu unveiled his £70,000 masterpiece in 2009. There were people who saw it as genius and others who thought it madness. But one thing was for sure, no one could ignore it. Luxury publications across London, Lagos and Dubai raced to cover the story. The Telegraph, Vanguard, Bella Naija and Punch Nigeria all ran features on the world's most expensive suit. The photos spread fast, Amosu standing confidently beside his masterpiece. The kind of quiet defiance that says, yes, an African did this. To the rich elite, it was an instant status symbol. It was an object of envy and exclusivity. A few called it wearable art. Collectors wanted to know if it could be commissioned, how many would ever exist, and whether it came with personal tailoring sessions. It did, anywhere in the world. But as for the critics, they came just as fast. They quickly responded. Some fashion commentators dismissed the outfit as a stunt in silk, suggesting it was more about generating headlines than celebrating heritage. They questioned why anyone would spend £70,000 on an ordinary suit when so many people live in poverty, especially in Africa. They asked, what did this display of excess truly represent? Creativity or inequality? One article from the time of the launch, April 2009, mentioned that the timing of the major luxury venture was a little bizarre, given that the world was in grip of a major recession, implicitly criticizing the launch of such an extravagant item during a global economic downturn. A review mentioned the suit was more focused on luxury than practicality, suggesting that its extreme opulence, such as gold thread pinstripes and diamond-encrusted buttons, made it a statement piece or work of art rather than a functional piece of daily tailoring. The suit was criticized or simply noted as a negative point for being extremely expensive and exclusive and having limited availability and exclusivity. This shows that the main criticism is that the suit was priced so high that only the ultra-wealthy could afford it. And just like that, the labels started flying. Consumerism, classism, elitism, and so on and so forth. However, Amosu didn't flinch. In interviews, he defended the piece as a celebration of craftsmanship and vision, not waste. He believed that luxury is about emotion, and so he was never backing down. To him, it's about how something makes you feel, not just what it costs.
And then Amosu suit, you have your whole personality changes. You feel like you're special. You're dressed to kill. You're sharp, and that's what it's about, really.
And indeed, he had succeeded in stirring emotion, pride, envy, curiosity, even anger. But more importantly, he had put African excellence at the center of global luxury conversation. For the first time, a designer from Nigeria created something that matched the best from Savile Row, not just in style but also in value.
coming up with great ideas that you could sell, start in 1 year or 2 years and then sell in the third year. But with a luxury brand, building something bigger than just me, something that, in 10, 20, 50 years, people would recognize as a household name. It's the pinnacle of
But don't get
luxury.
it twisted. The goal was not only to compete with European designs, it was about shifting perspectives. It was about changing what people think is possible from Africa. By the time the dust settled, Amosu's name had entered the global luxury lexicon. By this time, he wasn't known as simply the man who made the most expensive suit. He had become a symbol of audacious ambition, proof that creativity from Lagos could stand shoulder to shoulder with craftsmanship from London. Before Amosu, African designers were often boxed into cultural fashion, vibrant fabrics, traditional patterns, or ethnic aesthetics. Beautiful, yes, but rarely associated with ultra-luxury. Amosu shattered that stereotype with needle and thread. He had a vision and worked towards it, because Alexander Amosu didn't see the suit as just fashion, like many may call it. To the designer, this was a manifesto. It was a bold declaration that luxury could wear an African name and still command respect on the world stage. He showed that African creativity could operate at the same altitude as Italian tailoring or British bespoke, where excellence is measured not by pattern, but by precision. His suit stood as both a product and a protest against the idea that luxury belongs elsewhere, far away from African heritage. The craftsmanship behind it inspired a quiet ripple across the continent. Young designers began reimagining what was possible, experimenting with high-end tailoring, rare fabrics, and elevated design philosophy. Suddenly, the word African luxury wasn't an oxymoron. It was a frontier. In interviews years later, Amosu emphasized that the goal was never to glorify wealth. It was to glorify craft. He believed that if he could build a 70,000 pound suit, it means African hands can create things the world will pay attention to. And he lived by that creed because he only kept the fire burning. Beyond fashion, he expanded into bespoke mobile phones, designing what would become the world's most expensive BlackBerry. Forbes recorded that 33-year-old Amosu, whose company Amosu Luxury Designs customized gem-studded apparel, electronics, and accessories for upscale clientele, revealed the Amosu Black Diamond BlackBerry in 2009. The phone was set in 18-karat black gold and created using close to 1,400 little diamonds weighing approximately 15 carats. It came in a sleek crocodile case in varying colors, and buyers could have their names or personal logos engraved into the handset. Only 10 of these handsets were ever made. And these weren't just for anyone. Alexander Amosu's clientele included global icons like Beyoncé, Jay-Z, P. Diddy, Chris Brown, 50 Cent, Lewis Hamilton, Saudi Arabia family, among others. In 2014, he also created the most expensive iPhone 6 coated in 18-karat gold and encrusted with over 6,000 diamonds. The phone was worth $2.7 million. Each design wasn't just a luxury item, it was a statement, a symbol that even from London, the young Nigerian man could redefine what it meant to live lavishly. Amosu did it all: expensive suit, luxury phones, diamond watches, and lifestyle branding. He was blending technology with opulence. Each project reinforced the central message that Africans didn't need validation from Paris or Milan. They could set the tone themselves. Yet, the deeper legacy of Amosu's suit isn't gold buttons or vicuña wool. It's representation. It's the idea that luxury, like art, has no passport. It can come from the son of Nigerian immigrants who once sold ringtones and dared to dream beyond the ordinary. In the end, Alexander Amosu may have built the world's most expensive suit, but he didn't stop there. He tailored a new narrative, one where African ambition fit perfectly into the fabric of global excellence. Every now and then, a story comes along that feels larger than its subject. Is Alexander Amosu's £70,000 suit really about fashion? Or is it about possibility? A question about what happens when vision refuses to bow to limitation and intimidation. But when you sit down to really think about it, it's unbelievable that a boy who once sold newspapers became a man who redefined luxury. A son of Nigerian immigrants took on a world that rarely looked his way and forced it to. And he did it not with politics or power, but with skill, with precision, craft, and innovation. A needle, a dream, and the courage to believe that his name could stand among the best. The world saw gold buttons and rare wool, but what it really witnessed was something deeper, an African story told through craftsmanship, a reminder that excellence can be inherited, but that it can also be built. That luxury, like success, is not about where you come from, but how far your imagination is willing to go, even when the world laughs at your dreams and calls it delusion. You don't back down or look away from your vision. In that sense, Amosu's suit was never about the price tag. It was about worth. The worth of effort, of artistry, of identity. It asked a quiet, defiant question. If an African can build the world's most expensive suit, what else can we build? Because true luxury isn't stitched in fabric. It is stitched in faith. Faith in what you can make. Faith in where you come from. Faith that your story, too, can wear gold. And perhaps that legacy Alexander Amosu leaves behind, that greatness, no matter its origin, always fits.